Welcome into another episode of Tailgate Talk SEC. I am Will Thomas, and we are officially through the regular season of college basketball, at least the SEC. We still got some Big Ten games wrapping up right now. I've got Illinois, Maryland on the TV right now. So this is the official final day of the regular season, and we have got conference tournaments with the power leagues beginning on Tuesday. But we're going to focus on the SEC. That logo in the top right is there for a reason. So we'll focus on that in this video. Starting off just with some Saturday headlines from the last weekend of the regular season. And we'll start in Lexington, where the Gators took down Kentucky 84-77. And why this mattered more than it seems like it should, really, is because UConn lost to Marquette right before this game tipped off. So Florida, with this win against Kentucky, is now they have that one seed, which was unfathomable earlier in the year when they took those losses early on, when they lost to Missouri in the conference opener, when they lost to Auburn, all of that stuff. I mean, they flipped the switch, turned a corner, and they're playing like the best team in the country, which I've noted a lot. But for a while it was still it's UConn's one seed to lose. If UConn wins out and Florida wins out, even if the Gators look more dominant, UConn will keep it, but they lost. So now Florida is in a position to get that number one seed. I think as long as they just beat Missouri or Kentucky on Friday, they'll be fine. I'm not even sure that they have to make it to the SEC championship to keep that one seed. I expect that they do, but I'm not sure that they need it for one seed purposes. But some of the other bigger games, Vandy at Tennessee, man, the Commodores won 86-82 in Knoxville. During my preview, I said that Vandy's going to need one of their Tylers to step up, Tyler Tanner or Tyler Nickel, and they got 25 points from Tyler Tanner. They got revenge on the Vols for beating them in Nashville a few weeks ago. And with how the seeding played out, Vandy is the 4 seed, Tennessee is the 5. As long as the Vols win their game against either Auburn or Mississippi State on Thursday, we will get round 3 between these two teams, which would be really, really exciting. Alabama manhandled Auburn at home. It was not as close as the score shows you. It was 96-84, but it was a little bit worse than that. I mean, the Tide are hot. They're playing really well, and Auburn cannot be anywhere near the bracket. They're 16-15, 7-11 in the SEC. They need to get out of there. But Arkansas went to Missouri, and they won this game without Darius Acuff, 88-84. On the road against a Missouri team who this win would have put them in the field for sure. I still believe they make it, but now there's a lot more pressure on them to beat, in theory, Kentucky on Thursday. So big win for Arkansas. They really showed their depth. I mean, Malik Thomas can take over any game. Trevon Brazile is a great ball player. Arkansas is a threat to go win that SEC tournament and make a deep run in March. Some of the other results, I mean, South Carolina beat Ole Miss on a Michie Johnson logo buzzer beater just about. That was pretty electric. Georgia at Mississippi State. This game was 102-96. I mean, crazy points scored in this game, but the Bulldogs win their season finale to go 22-9 overall and 10-8 in the SEC. A&M at LSU went to 3 overtimes. The Aggies won 94-91 to solidify their tournament resume. And Oklahoma at Texas, another overtime game. The Sooners won by 3. Massive win for Oklahoma. This is a team that's really dangerous in Nashville, and we'll get to that right now. But, I mean, Texas, just hit on them real quick. They should still be okay to make the tournament. They get Ole Miss to begin. That's the in Nashville. They should win that game. And I won't spoil too much while I'm thinking here, but Texas should be okay. But anyways, let's get to the SEC tournament bracket. This is what we're looking at. Obviously, on Wednesday, you have LSU and Kentucky, Mississippi State and Auburn, Ole Miss and Texas, South Carolina, and Oklahoma. Those double bye teams, though, all the way there, who won't be playing until Friday. Obviously, the Gators got the 1 seed. Bama, with their win over Auburn, took the 2, and Arkansas is at the 3 seed. And Vandy got that 4 seed in large part because of that win in Knoxville. It was big time. And the other teams, which see the 5 through 8, you've obviously got the Vols at number 5, A&M at number 6, Georgia at 7, and Missouri at 8. So these first round matchups, some of them are decently interesting. I mean, Kentucky and LSU might, you should probably show your kids that. But I mean, Mississippi State and Auburn could be competitive. We saw State beat the Tigers just a few weeks ago. Ole Miss and Texas, I would expect the Longhorns to take care of business there. And Carolina and Oklahoma is that final day 1. So now let's go through my full bracket projection. I filled this out this morning. It is, I would say, subject to change, but I won't do it. I won't change it. Scout's honor, I won't change it. This is how I see the SEC tournament playing out. You obviously have, I got Kentucky beating LSU. I have Mississippi State beating Auburn again. This one I was a little bit on the fence about because it's hard to beat a team twice, especially when you're not like leaps and bounds better than they are. And State is not leaps and bounds over Auburn. But Josh Hubbard, he gets in these stints where he will score 40 plus in like 2 or 3 straight games. He did it a few weeks ago. He was a little bit cold. He was in the 10, between 10 and 20 for a few games. He scored 41 yesterday. I think we're going to get elite Josh Hubbard in this first round, and that can carry Mississippi State to a win over an Auburn team that does not deserve a tournament bid. beating that drum forever. Ole Miss versus Texas. I got Texas. I like the Longhorns a lot. And then Carolina and Oklahoma, I've got the Sooners. And let's go to round two now. If you're looking at the brackets, I got some upsets here, but just the top half, I do think Kentucky beats Missouri. I think they're the better team. I think they have the higher ceiling. Maybe I should say it like that. I think they have the higher ceiling than Missouri. And it's just Kentucky, I do trust that they'll perform well at this tournament. Just to really try and get into the big dance with some momentum, some added steam after what was kind of a slow end to their season. Mississippi State and Tennessee, I thought about doing Mississippi State here, but I'll trust Rick Barnes and that defense getting Nate Ament back probably to advance. Then Texas against Georgia. We saw this matchup in Athens. Georgia beat Texas. I've got the Longhorns getting revenge. I have Tennessee, Texas moving on to the quarterfinals and beating Georgia. And Oklahoma and A&M, second upset. I have the Sooners over A&M. Oklahoma is really hot right now. If you're not even been watching their games, you just see they've been rattling off wins. They're not meaningless wins. They're beating good teams on the road and at home. Nigel Pack is shooting north of 45% from deep. And he's leading this team with his, being that veteran guard is really important. In Oklahoma, Porter Moser's kind of coaching for his job, if you like, to a certain degree. This team has turned a corner. They are better than the record shows, and I think A&M, frankly, is worse than the record shows. So I have the Sooners beating A&M. In the quarterfinals on Friday, Kentucky and Florida. It's really hard to beat, solid teams 3 times. I got Florida doing it, though. I'll take Florida over with the Wildcats again. Tennessee and Vanderbilt, round 3. I hope this game happens. I think it should be awesome, but I'll take the Vols to beat Vanderbilt. Texas and Alabama, I've got Bama just being a little too much for the Longhorns. That game should be good. And Oklahoma, Arkansas, I have a similar thought process. I think that Darius Ekov takes over this tournament. So I've got Arkansas beating Oklahoma. Then in the semis, Florida versus Tennessee, we saw this matchup once Florida ran the Vols out of the gym in Gainesville. I have them beating them again. Alabama and Arkansas. I want Arkansas in a revenge spot here. We obviously had that thriller where both teams were way over 100 points in Tuscaloosa. The Bama won. I think Arkansas gets them back. And the championship for the SEC, I got Florida versus Arkansas. Give me the Gators to go 2-0 against the Hogs this year. Now, yeah, I mean, it's not a very, it's pretty chalky to say Florida wins this tournament, but I just don't really know who I would trust to beat them. I do think, seriously, the best chance at Florida losing would be to Kentucky. Just because it's their third matchup. It's really hard to beat teams 3 times in a year. So, Tennessee is better than Kentucky. I don't really care. Arkansas or Bama, assuming those are the 2 that come out of the bottom half of the bracket, they're both better than Kentucky. I think Kentucky would be the matchup that would potentially beat Florida. Just because of that third game magic. But I have the Gators winning the SEC. And let's get into these odds of the SEC tournament right now. I mean, Florida is minus 180. So obviously, I'm not the pick for the Gators to win the SEC tournament. I am not. That is not profound. A lot of people have them. They are the odds-on favorite by a lot. Then you go through the next 3. Arkansas, they're the 3 seed, but they're the next up at plus 600. Bama is plus 850 right behind that, and Tennessee is plus 950. Those are the only 3 teams that aren't Florida that have shorter than plus 1,000 odds to win this tournament. I mean, the Gators have an absolute chokehold on the market right now. But then Vandy's at plus 1,200. Then you get a massive drop-off to Georgia and A&M, who are both plus 3,500. Then you get Kentucky way down to 4,500, Texas at 6,000, and then you get Oklahoma's at plus 10,000. Missouri is 15,000. Auburn 18,000. Ole Miss is 60,000. And then South Carolina, Mississippi State, and LSU are plus 80,000. I mean, these are absurd numbers. I mean, obviously there is a big gap between the top, middle, and bottom of the conference, but these numbers being as huge as they are, I think it's just a reflection of how good Florida is and how dominant they are over this league. Because, I mean, you wouldn't normally see, the 6th best team in odds-wise, which is Georgia here at plus 3,500. You would never see number 6 at 3,500 in years past. You just wouldn't. But the Gators are dominating this whole field where everyone else's odds are just skewed. So, I mean, my pick obviously is Florida to win the SEC, like I showed you guys in the bracket, and they are the heavy, heavy odds-on favorite. And that's really all we've got for this episode. We're breaking down each game, with a preview throughout the week as we get closer. The postseason is here, man. The postseason is here, and it is exciting stuff. Just the fact that we have a bracket. I mean, I was sitting on my computer going through all the scenarios last night while the last 2 games were winding down of who goes where if Texas wins, who goes where if Oklahoma wins. Just that rush of the bracket. It can't be replicated. So I'm so thrilled for this week, for the SEC tournament and all the other ones, obviously, that are wrapping up right now, and all the other power conferences that are coming up this week. We get a bracket in 7 days. we get the full bracket 7 days from now. It is officially that time of year. March Madness has arrived. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Tailgate Talk SEC. If you've been enjoying my basketball content and want some more, and want some pretty intense football preview content the second that basketball ends, subscribe to me here. Follow me on Twitter. I'll be doing all that for you guys. I have been Will Thomas, and I will see you next time.